Everyone. All right, welcome to the best week of your business year to date. Do you believe that? That it could be, because your approach to business is everything. So, leadership does not begin with answers. Like, write it down. Leadership begins with understanding, right? They say read the room. That's leadership, reading the room, understanding, giving context. So, when a client or prospect texts you, quick question. Or they email you, hey, don't want to bother you on text, but quick question. Most realtors will jump to answering the question, and leaders do not. Leaders do not. So, leaders in authority do not rush to respond. I really want you to just know that and just think about, okay, when something comes in, are you in a hurry? So, I'm going to give you, I think, 5 or 6 examples that I came up with, but I want to share that most agents act like you're Google, or in the old days, 411. But you're not most agents anymore. Okay. You're set apart. You are exceptional, right? That's who we are. We are exceptional. Exceptional agents are like doctors. So when you go to a doctor for your child, my stomach hurts. Okay. The doctor will ask questions to gather context. Then she will decide the course of action. Okay. So I want you to know that your bar of acceptability is way too low if you think, well, it got me the client. That's all that matters. No, it is not. And here's why. Because unknowingly, you train clients how to treat you. So if like in that example, if you say, I'm not going to do what Jan says, what she's going to explain, I'm just going to keep answering because it works. I get clients, right? You could say that. But you're unknowingly training people to text you whenever they want, to expect immediate results, immediate responses, to allow them to dictate the process. And then 5, 6 months later, you're exhausted because you took an overpriced listing and you're at this guy's beck and call. Okay. And you actually did it yourself. You trained the client to lead you. And you have got to be so excited to be the leader. Every interaction that you have on the face of this earth is training. Every interaction, whether you realize it or not. Okay. You're either teaching people, I've got this, or you need to manage me. You know what? I need water. Let me text my husband, ask him to bring me water. I think he heard me. Hold on. Sorry, something's in my throat. Okay. You're either teaching people I lead or you lead. I want you to think about it. Somebody asks you, hey, what's your commission? And you answer. You've just taught them something. Ask a question, she will answer it. Instead, you want to say, oh, what a great question. I'm so happy to discuss that. Let me ask you, what's going on? Where's this, where's this question coming from? Or specifically, what are you looking for? Talk to me. Okay. In that way, you're teaching them that I'm not here to react. I'm here to lead. So I need to understand before I can best answer your question. Right. Thanks, honey. Appreciate it. Yes. Because like if you are just reacting, they're going to feel they might hire you for whatever reason, but they're going to be the bane of your existence. They're going to be like, you're going to come here and you're going to say, I have the most terrible client, right? People treat you how you allow them to treat you. Humans, our brains follow patterns. And they don't even know what they're doing. Please understand, this is not maliciousness on their part. It's not, okay? But it's just our brains follow patterns. And you are the leader, therefore, you have to see the pattern first because you are, in this case, the residential real estate expert. So if you answer texts at 10:30 at night, you've trained them. If you drop everything every time they call, you've trained them. If you allow them to dictate pricing on their listing, you've trained them to continue to tell you what to do. If you become their answer machine, you've trained them. Because the appointment, either the buyer consult or the listing appointment, does not establish your relationship. And this just came to me, I don't know, last week. And I want you to understand the first conversation, the first interaction establishes the relationship. So the good news is that if you are working with a prospect now, or, meaning you've already done that and you've like, oh crap, I didn't ask for context. I am their answer girl. Okay. What I want you to know is we can change it, but you've got to be brave enough to sit in the uncomfortable and change. Okay. So I want you to imagine two realtors, and the client says, what's next? And the agent says, oh, I'll get back to you really soon. And then the client says, what about this? Oh, let me check. And then the client says, hey, by the way, can we do this? And the agent says, oh, sure. Do you see how it's like you're in reactionary mode and we don't want that. Realtor two, when they say what's next, great, correct, great question. Here's exactly what you can expect next. Can we list at this price? You know what? Pricing is everything that affects your proceeds. So let me ask you, how did you arrive at that price? If the client says, hey, when will I hear from you? How often will I hear from you? I know we covered a lot in our conversation, i.e., at the buyer consult or the listing appointment. And part of my signature methodology called whatever is that every Friday, you and I will review the weekly market update together, right? One sounds helpful, the other one is a leader. And people will back up when you lead. Who wants people to back up sometimes and just like, can we just have it easy? Now, I do want to say this. You may think clients will choose the agent who does whatever they say. And you know what? There are people who would do that. But those people are not for you. They aren't for anyone. Because all they do is make you exhausted and make you lose your confidence and doubt yourself. So we don't need those people. I'll never forget when my son got his license and I went on a listing appointment with him and I did, a lot of the talking because it was right in the beginning. And we didn't get it. And he goes, Mom, you stuck too hard on the price, dang it. And I would have loved that listing. I didn't care if it was 20 thou over or whatever. And I said, Zachary, I'm sorry, then I can't go on listing appointments with you because I am trying to safeguard your time. I'm trying to safeguard your time. And you would be the first to call me complaining about the pain in the butt client. So I just saved you from that. And the neat thing is that they never ended up selling. I know that because I'm looking at expired listings and to see if they, because my brokerage starting and they still haven't sold, right? And by the way, it did list with someone, right? It did list with somebody at that price, but it didn't sell. Okay. So how much is your commission? Let's say that. How much is your commission? Some people say whatever it is. Um, and if they say, talk to me, I'm thinking about selling the house. Talk to me about what commission the seller is responsible to pay. On a text? No. But most people will say whatever it is, right? 6%, 5.5, whatever. Okay. You say, absolutely, we need to discuss that. But please tell me, what is prompting this question? Like, what are you thinking? Do you have something in mind? Because we usually don't start a conversation on text this way. Like, you're the leader. Or you could just say, what a great question. Tell me, what are you thinking about? Commission is rarely about commission. It's usually about their fear, their past experience with an agent who kind of did them dirty because we know they're out there. Okay. Value, like, is this really going to be worth it? Am I really going to be able to do it? Raise your hand if you ever paid something more for something than you ever thought you would. Me, like, I paid more than I thought for glasses, my car, coaching, clothing, like jewelry, right? But why do we do that? Not because we got ripped off, right? I don't feel like I got ripped off with any of that. But we bought something for more than we ever thought we would because at that moment we thought it was worth it. So the transfer of money for the clothing, the jewelry, the coaching, the car, whatever it was worth it. All right. So what do you think my house is worth? Your neighbor says at the mailbox, where you meet somebody and they find out you're a realtor and they're like, I live over in such and such neighborhood and I've been there for, X years, whatever. What do you think approximately my house? I don't want to bother you. I don't want you to spend a lot of time. I'm just asking, right? Some agents will be like, okay, well, the average home there is what, 850? That, and you think that that makes you sound smart. Not you, but collective, most realtors think that makes them sound smart. But in actuality, it's the opposite. A novice will give information like that, but we're set apart. We're different. So you say, you know what? What a great question. That's the number one question I get every week. So you're in good company. Tell me, are you thinking about selling or are you really interested in pulling out some beautiful equity and doing something fun with the money? Now, some of you are funny about money. Um, People are really sometimes funny about money. They don't want to talk about their money. They don't want to talk about religion. They don't want to talk about anything that's of substance. They stay surface and they're happy with that. Here's what I want to tell you. They're not happy with that. That's a protective mechanism. I'm not letting you in. Okay. So, an immature personality, when someone is kind of guarded like that, takes offense to it. Okay. But I pity them now and I pray for them when somebody's like that, right? Because I'm like, oh man, they've been hurt so bad. They just have to protect and protect and protect. And they protect themselves out of a life of love and a life of fun and a life of freedom. Okay. So if you're afraid to ask somebody, it's none of my business what they're going to do with the money. If they, then don't tell, then why do they just, if you really believe that, then why would you even answer their question? Like, Like to me, that's those two aren't aligned. Like for me, as a real estate expert, you before you give wonderful on point data, you deserve to have context to that which you're going to share with them. Hey, should we wait until spring? They ask in November, in January, right? And most agents will either say yes, because that is the best time, or they'll say, no, now's a great time. Which is so salesy. And so both of them really are salesy. One is, I'm going to say whatever she wants. The other is, I need a deal. So I'm just going to say, you know what I mean? But a leader says, maybe everybody's situation is different. Tell me what makes you consider waiting? What do you find valuable in waiting? Talk to me, right? What does this say? It means you need to slow down and ask the dang question. I think we're in too much of a hurry because this industry, like I said, and I'm just going to say it again, it's like we're whores. Get in, get out, boom, slam, bam, 2 a.m. booty call, get in, get out. move on to the next. Like it's just sick, right? It's really sick. So when they answer, and if they don't answer, say, oh, I was just wondering. Say, oh, okay, cool. Move on. And then you think, oh, they think I don't know what I'm talking about. I should have answered. No, no, you got to have confidence because even if 50% actually tell you something, you might discover their fear. You might discover that they're loving clickbait, right? Oh, all the headlines. Everything's uncertain. Newsflash. There's been uncertainty since the beginning, since the fall. There has been uncertainty. You might learn of a family situation that's coming up. The question is not the season, it's what's guiding their concern? What's guiding their hesitancy? Or, are they really thinking of selling or not? And then, hey, can we list at 1.2 million? And the agent says, man, I'd love to have $1 million listing, even if it never sells. Yes, let's try, right? Or, I don't think so. I think that's too high. But a leader says, okay, let's just slow it down because that is not where I came in. I would love to hear because I love how confidently you asked me that question. George, Susie, tell me, how did you arrive at that number? Shut up, get your pen in your hand and write their words. Write their words. Now you're leading. Okay. It could be because of a neighbor's house that sold. Zillow, a certain amount of money they need to take to the market they're going to. Can I just tell you, this is really important, ladies. Please, I hope I can, God, don't let me forget this. Um, so I'm the pool social director, and we had our first big event, 470 some people yesterday. It was very good, and I'll tell you about that later. But one of the ladies said to me, the lady who I'm replacing, okay, um, she's going to Texas, and I tried to get it to one of you Texas ladies, but her husband already had somebody. Anyway, I tried. Um, so we're there talking, and right before everybody got, we were there early, we got it set up. Now they're BSing, just talking. Because, yeah, I didn't know, I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. She said, yeah, she's like, we went there and we were going to put an offer, we were there, but we were so tired. And then the next day, our agent called and said that they reduced the house by 75,000. And she said that the listing agent told her that they're Indian and some big company there replaced a certain percentage of employees with AI. And so, yeah, they just need to get out and blah, 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 blah. And this lady said, I feel so entitled. I feel so privileged. And I held back. I held back. Who knows what I wanted to say? Who just guess. Guess in the comments or unmute. What did I want to say to her? I wish I would have actually. I do. Why don't you just pay her why don't you just offer the extra 75? Put your money where your mouth is, sister. She went on for 30 minutes about how she's white privilege and the plight was terrible. So I said, well, you could have offered more. And she looked at me like, shut up. I'm calling her on the carpet. Anyway, back to this. I was like, I can't talk about, I can't. I just can't. Because she could have paid extra 75, but she didn't, did she? No. Okay. Next, can you show us the house? Ladies, do you ever give like $100 tip to the waiter? We do. I think the highest was maybe 250. I haven't did it once, okay? But like normally we'll give like 25%. If they suck, I give $1. I'm just being honest, okay? It's not something it's something they earn, right? And that's why I'm like, you could have gave more. Okay. Can you show us the house? Can you show us the house, please? The average agent, sure, what time works for you? Because you want the deal. A leader says, Well, of course, I'd be happy to. Hey, I'm checking the showing appointment book online, the appointment, booking online in the MLS while we wait. Oh my gosh, tell me, what do you love about this one? It's the best question. What a great question. Because that's going to tell you, you know, what are they thinking? What are they focused on, that new kitchen? Are they focused on that big yard? Are they focused on the side of town? Are they focused on the fact that the yard has beautiful landscape or hardscape or a pool or something, right? And then the all-time favorite, my last question is, you know, we're just not ready yet. We're just not ready yet. And the average agent says, "Oh, no problem. I'm not going anywhere." I said this too, y'all. "I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. You just let me know when you're ready." And we think that's being nice. And it is being nice, not being kind. Not being kind. Now that you've been in this coaching, okay? I love in the Bible, I learned that like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. Being nice is not the same as kind. We are to be kind. We're not to be nice. We're to be kind, sharing truth. Okay? So why are you saying that's nice and not kind? Because the brain, the minute it makes a decision and wants to do something, hesitate. We're not ready yet. They might really be ready, but they're too scared. And if we, just like when the rates were down at 2.5, 3% to buy a house, oh God, please, wouldn't that be nice? Oh my goodness. Um, we didn't know how good we had it, girls, did we? Um, And then people say, I don't want to compete. Of course you don't. No problem. Hey, you tell me when you're ready to go. And then 6 months to a year later, 6.5%. And the prices went up. Were you being kind to them? No. Nope, you sure were not. Because even if you thought you were being kind, you were just being nice. Why? Because you didn't want to feel uncomfortable. So you were protecting yourself. So you weren't even being nice. You were being nice to yourself. Ladies, I'm just a truth talker. I can't help it. You know why? Because truth will set you free. And this culture has lied to us for so long that we believe all these things. Like I learned a month ago that wisdom teeth help you when you get older. Yet, if anybody still has their wisdom teeth, will you tell me in the chat right now? I do not have my wisdom teeth. Our dentist said you got to get them out. So we hook, line, and sinker. We all. Does anybody here still have their wisdom teeth? Want anybody? Please put it in. No, no, no. Nobody has wisdom teeth. Told my kid. I showed her the lady I follow on Instagram. I said, do not get your kids' wisdom teeth out. Okay, here we go. Um, how about, you know what? I completely understand you telling me with such confidence that you're not ready. Tell me, what does ready look like for you? What does ready look like for you? And you know what's super sad, ladies? They won't know. We in this hypnotic culture, whatever Byron Golden says, we have been taught to just kick the can down the road. And people are so nice that they won't even question it. But I want to question it. I don't want to question it because I'm a ball buster. Hey, you want to sit there, like, do it. But when you're a leader, we don't want to let people suffer. Who wants to have somebody suffer? I don't. I don't want any of you to suffer. That's why I'm being as honest as I can with you, with what I believe with 100% certainty to be true in my bones, right? Not ready might mean I don't have the money to do the repairs. Maybe you can help them out. Not ready might just be, I'm scared out of my mind because I've never sold a house before. Well, maybe you can help them. Maybe one does and the other spouse doesn't. Maybe you can help them. Okay. But the leader gets context. Okay. So I want you to raise your hand and I want you to share wins. I want you to ask questions in no order because I want to get through as many as possible. I want you to dig deep and ask good questions and share wins. Most agents answer the question, but exceptional answer the question underneath the issue, underneath the question. Okay. Exceptional agents answer the question underneath the question because there always is one. There always is one. Okay, one more thing. You don't want to be the one doing the most. You want to be doing the thing that matters most. You don't want to be the agent doing the most. Like the culture, like when you're at your brokerage for a meeting or something and everybody's like talking and you're like, oh my gosh, like learning AI and doing this and oh my gosh, I'm working with 10 buyers and they can't get loose and they're not deciding and all this stuff. That's not cool. Okay. You don't have to be the one that does the most. You have to be the one that does what matters most. Do what matters most. That's why today's essential is stop the immediate answering and instead inquire for context. That's what'll get you the big win. Okay. All right. Raise your hand. Let's see. I do. Bernadette. But they want me to remove mine. I'm dragging my feet. Bernadette, do not. And we can talk offline if you'd like. Who has their hand raised? Let's see. Ingrid, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Um, I noticed that when I go on a listing appointment, I'm hesitant to get the listing signed immediately.
Okay.
Um, I know that for pricing, I can put in the to be determined. I think part of the hesitation is um, we have to have it in the LMS um, within 2 days. And if I'm not ready or they're not ready, I find myself hesitating. So I'm trying to figure out how to get over that and to leave the appointment with the listing agreement signed.
Okay. For context, I have a question for you. I understand that, well, let me just ask you, I have two questions. Are you saying that within 2 days of any listing agreement that you get signed in your brokerage, that house must be showing up in the MLS, correct?
Yes, that's coming soon.
Okay. All right. So when I suggest that you get it signed immediately, even if they're not sure of timing or price, why do we do that? I want you to understand that. Why is that my recommendation?
To lock in the listing.
Yeah, well, it's yes, to lock in the listing. It's because then if anybody in between the time that they meet with you and they want to list, if someone says to them, hey, did you sign anything with anybody? They say yes, and then they have to back up. Okay. So it's to
Mhm.
protect you. So talk to me about, so your hesitancy is that you feel like if you get paperwork signed, you have to hand it in to somebody. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's what we don't do. Okay. So I don't believe that's out of integrity, but if you do, I can't say anything about that. Okay. Because here's why. Because we are independent contractors. And as a broker, I'm going to tell my agents this too. Okay. And I'm responsible for them. Okay. Um, because a contract, my sister's an attorney, and a legally binding contract is that which is signed by both parties.
Mhm.
Okay. So you and them
Mhm.
with agreed upon terms. So it is not MLS ready if you don't know when it's going to be listed and or you don't know what price. It's not MLS ready. But so that is, or if you don't want to do that, you could have intent. an intent. You can draw up a document, go into ChatGPT or Notebook LM and say, my residential real estate clients are not ready. I want to come up with a real short letter of intent because the sellers won't know that speaks to, yes, I am agreeing to list my home with Ingrid of XYZ Realty within 6 months, within 3 months, whatever it is, at a price to be determined. You sign it, she signs it. You keep it, right?
Mhm.
Talk to me now, Ingrid. How do you feel after hearing that?
That makes sense now that at least I'll have something in writing that was signed, both of us signed.
Right. So because absolutely the last thing I would want is if you because everybody has their own conscience and where they are. So I would not want to say that that's the only way, but there are things in legal that are called a letter of intent.
Mhm.
And so you could do a letter of intent. But you
Okay.
don't want to tell them. See, ladies, this is what I want to share with you. People will believe what you tell them if you act like it's commonplace. Like, this is how it works. Oh, you're not sure when you want to list? No problem. Let's have the listing appointment. Let me come in. Let me see your home. Blah, 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 blah. And then when you're there, you say, whenever you're ready. How have you received, me being here? Have you seen my sincerity, my expertise? Would you be ready to, if you were ready today, would you be ready to hire me? And if they say yes, say fantastic. Because there's this form called the letter of intent. And it just says, when you're ready, you're going to list with me at a price to be determined. When do you think you want to list? By December. Okay, so within 6 months. Boom. And ladies, you want it short, short, lots of paragraphs, short. Don't go to an attorney and pay a lot of money. You want and you call it paperwork. You don't call it like, oh, well, this is normally not what we do. And but no, 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 no. You just say, oh, great. In your case, what we do is we sign a letter of intent. And here's what it is. You pull it out and it has two paragraphs. If you go in, Ingrid, or any of you to your ChatGPT or Notebook LM or Claude or wherever you want to go and get something, I'd be happy to look it over. Okay. I hope that helps.
Right. Yes, it does. Thanks.
Because you know what, Ingrid, I love how you were honest and you said, I'm hesitant. And that is so good. That was a sincere feeling that you had in your bones. So I hope that your hesitancy has been lifted.
Yes.
Great.
Thank
Great question. You're welcome. Sheila Grant, what's going on?
Hello, that was really helpful and noted for the beginning part of things. Um, because that did happen. And it kind of catches you off guard for somebody to
Yeah.
jump right into, hey, haven't talked to you for a while. What does it cost for you to do all this work for me? That's the only thing that matters. So I feel like on our phone call, I was able to get back in the leadership role. Because I think in the
Okay.
case of this lady, she's a past client of mine. I think a lot of the public that's not involved with real estate, they really don't even know what to ask us. So they go for the thing they hear the most on the news. What money
100%. That
are
is
you
so
going to
good,
take
guys.
from me?
Listen to that. That is so good. Do sellers have to pay commission anymore? Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead. That's so good.
So once, and she didn't even bring it up this time along because I was leading her through it. I was like, are you the executor? We talked a long time about church and
Yeah.
her mom passed away and her dad was before that and prayer and all kinds of stuff. And then finally, when I got to that, I said, well, I need to see the house and see what needs to be done and come together with a strategy. And this is my specialty, actually. What I do is helping people in
Yeah.
your exact situation. Do we have to deal with your siblings? She's like, no, only I need to sign, but I just inform them on stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, great. This is going to be so easy for you. We're going to walk through it. So I feel like I was able to
Yay.
like
Hey,
wrestle
I
some of
have to
it back.
interrupt you.
Yeah.
This is going to be so easy for you. 9.
Yeah.
That's
And
great verbiage.
it's coming more and more naturally. And just, on the heels of that, like you said, you teach people how to treat you. I tell everybody I talk to, I do not work on Sunday. I
Yeah.
do not answer little questions that come in your mind unless I want to. But certainly not before I'm
Yeah.
done with church or not if I'm in the middle of something with my family. And
Yeah.
I have a client, I don't want to get into a long thing or anything, but I'm helping him move here. And so he told me that he's an atheist, right?
Mhm.
And which is fine, be what you want to be.
Yeah.
But I do take off Sundays because I am not an atheist. So I
Right.
will be in mass at this time and I'm
Yeah.
still following all my things. And I felt like it was a little strange. He texted me on something that easily could have been a Saturday or a Monday thing. And I did
Mhm.
not write him back at all yesterday, at
Good.
all.
Yeah.
And today he heard from me at 9 o'clock. So sometimes you have to reteach people how to treat
Yeah.
you
That's
because
exactly
I
right.
don't bend that for anybody.
That's right. See, that's a standard. Ladies, leaders have standards. So bravo. Yay. Yeah. And when I read your text again, because that this whole thought came from Sheila's text, um, which was yesterday, I think, wasn't it? It was Saturday, I don't know.
Yeah, it
But
was like Saturday. They
yeah,
both seem like the
Saturday.
same day.
Um, I thought, well, wait, is she talking about, because your answer was just about your commission. But I'm thinking
Yeah.
they're asking about in totality. So that's another reason why when they say, hey, when you sell a house, what's your commission? Are you asking for mine or the total commission you're going to pay? Which I hate the word commission anyway, but
Yeah, and I'll explain that to her as we go through things. But the question was, what is my commission to you? So, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then another thing, like, you could say, well, what kind of value are you looking for? Are you looking for the best or bottom rung? Like, are you looking for the Walmart or are you looking for the Nordstrom?
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I mean? Ladies, like this is my point. Like I would say that. I'd say, are you looking for, budget hotel or the Ritz-Carlton? Like that's what I'd say because I shop at Walmart, so I'm not going to say it. But I would say, are you looking for budget motel or are you looking for the Ritz-Carlton? What are you looking for? And then
And
guess
again,
what? Yeah, go ahead. No.
I think a lot of people don't even think that far down the road. They're
Oh,
just like, oh, because I mean, after you start, and that's why, like, you can handle things, text and stuff like that, but nothing doesn't like in person and
yeah,
show and tell, like
that's
like
right.
our new listing kit. That
Yeah.
show and tell. By the way, my two most recent listings got under contract in under 5 days for over or at list price, and both of them did not have a repair addendum. Like nobody even asked for any repairs, and they
Yeah,
both had home
guys,
inspections done.
guys, come on,
Nothing was
listen to
even
this.
asked for.
Okay, Sheila, tell them why you think that is. Because you went to the retreat and what happened?
Well, because I went to the retreat and I immediately came home and did my homework, and I still need to do a Facebook Live about this, but
Mhm.
I laid everything out in such a way so they know this is you want to sell your house in
Hold it up.
under
Hold it up. We can't see it. Yeah, there you go.
you want to sell your house in under a certain amount of days. They're like, yes. I'm like, great. This is how it has to look. It cannot look like anything less than this. These are real listings I just had in the past year. Let's go through them. And then I do my green string. Then I
Yes,
do
I
my
love it.
thing. And I went through it with all of them, and then it just makes sense to them, and they're like, "Oh!" And they listen to everything I tell them. The people that listen do
Mhm.
well. The people that don't, they learn later.
Yeah, and how do you feel having, because ladies, it's like either 3x5 or 5x7 cards. It's not like everybody else's broker has 8.5x11 and they say, we have online marketing. Ding, ding, ding. Come on. Who doesn't? Please leave me alone. Stop wasting my time. Um, yeah, so I've updated the listing presentation and such. And Christine, yes. So, what was I saying? So, yeah, so the fact that you have a business asset that she's proud of, and she
Yeah.
practices how to speak like a leader, she practices to slow down because the way that you do it is very demonstrative. Do you also use the lookbook? Or
Oh yeah. I
okay.
bring the two things at once with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the lookbook, I'm gonna do that with you guys because it's brand new and I don't like the old one works, but this one is a whole other level. So I will do that. In fact, the master class is on the 18th, which you should all be in. And some of you are and some of you aren't. If you aren't, you want to text me or email me the word relief and I'll make sure you're on there. The 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern, it's Thursday. And then that's going to lead into something. But anyway, after that, then I will show everybody that. But the retreat got the number one, and then my inner circle girlies had got it immediately. And so ladies, I want you to know that you might be, if you're not in the inner circle and you're thinking, well, that's not fair. I couldn't go on the retreat and I'm not in the inner circle, so that's not fair. Okay. But it is fair. You know why? Because I love you too much to confuse you, right? And if you're in the regular, if you're in Listing Queen Mastery Bootcamp and the Academy, and if you do not have a printed out listing presentation, you wouldn't do it anyway. Because if you haven't already done it with what you already have available, then you wouldn't do it with this. Okay? Because as we do one thing, we do everything. So I love you. And that's, there's nothing, I'm not holding back. It's just that, you don't need to do more. You just need to do the most important things. Yeah, and it is best learned in person for sure. All right. Um, Come on, y'all. Who else? I got Barbie, Violet, Penny, Bernadette, Jessica, Maureen, Courtney, Jen, Kathy, Linda, Falzani. Who's next? Barbie, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Great. Look at you. Were you on the TV? Were you on the news again recently? It seems,
I was.
I mean, come on. That right there. Are they just calling you and saying, "Hey, can you do meet on with this top?" Talk to me about how they're reaching out to you.
Basically, they were like, we love it. Keep sending us ideas. So I keep sending ideas.
Oh, that's
Oh,
amazing.
but then I'm helping the woman that interviewed me. I'm helping her find a house and sell her house. So
Mm.
we're building relationship.
Hey, and can I just tell you that God opened the door? Do you believe God opened the
100%.
door?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And so what I think is, how many of you ever watched Good Luck Charlie? It was a Disney show. Anyway, it's really cute. Anyhow, from 10 years ago, super cute. Um, the mom always wanted to have a regular on the news, local news, and by the finale show, she got it. Anyway, I want you to like if you want, you can ask God, God, make this something that I do once a week, like a special segment
Yeah.
that viewers can look forward to, and you can position it as that. All right, Barbie, what can I do for you? That was a
My bigger goal now is national. So
yes.
I'm like, why not? I follow this other realtor that she was on Fox and Friends.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah. So how would you start that? What would you do?
Well, I've been working on pitches to send. So, but I'm not quite ready because I've been working on some stuff behind the scenes to start a Brave Collective. So
Yeah.
I've been doing something locally, but what I want to do is grow it where it could be national and people could have divisions. I actually have a meeting
Yeah.
with someone on Friday that's doing that with young women right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm want to do that, but with, Gen X women.
Right. Right.
So I'm
Well,
talking to her about it. So as soon as I get my stuff in place, which is very close, then I'm going to pitch nationally.
I
So
love it. And the only thing that came to my brain was pray, ask for his divine
yep.
door opening, and to ask those people who are at that local channel, who do you know in XYZ town?
Yes.
Who do you know that could be my national contact? And you just ask the
100%.
question. Anyway,
Yep.
go ahead. Great job. Excellent.
So thank you. So
Yeah.
on that, and then so a win, I did in a local event for empty nesters called Uncork Your Next Chapter. It was like a wine and cheese
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I had a very small group, so like 6 women, but
Yeah.
2 of them are wanting to buy houses.
There you
One
go.
is a buy sell. We went yesterday, looked at new construction. They're getting a working through the getting approval process today. So we have one
Yay.
out of 6 that are actually already transacting. So
Yes. And then
those are
you said
good odds.
yeah. Let me tell you something, ladies. This is again the worldly culture of numbers, 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 and our industry that we've heard since the minute we got hired by our broker, right? So let's do the opposite. Let's go deeper in the relationships because look, I connected with this lady and she just sought me out yesterday at the event. And she was, a pretty older look, she's probably 65 and she had four grandchildren. I have 6. And she saw my 10-year-old with me doing something. We were handing out popsicles. And she was like, "Is this your daughter?" I'm like, "No, it's my granddaughter because she looks a lot like me." And she goes, "Oh my gosh, we have to do lunch, this and that and this." I found out she's like really connected. Ladies, I had no idea what I was doing. I felt like a fish out of water yesterday because I mean, I would do events with, like 100 people, but like almost five. It's been years since I did an over almost 500 person event. Um, and it was a lot. I actually came home afterward. My feet hurt and they kept like pulsing and I crashed on the couch. So it was like I got there at 10, came home at 4. I said to my husband, "I feel weird. I want to take a nap." And then he goes, "No, you need to eat." And I said, "Well, go get me something to eat." I slept for 45 minutes. I woke up, I ate, and then I was fine. But you know what I mean? So it's exhausting, but it was so fun. It was so out of comfort because all these people know each other. It like this club is very like they all know each other. And here I am, this fifth wheel, right? But it was good. Anyway,
That's so good.
yeah.
That's
So
inspiring because I don't like to be in big crowds with and have to make small talk.
yeah, that's not me either. So you know what I did? Like the whole day I was just like, I walked around with popsicles because it was wicked hot. So that was good. And then I'd be like, "How long have you been with the club and what made you join?" Because you know what I mean? It's not a country club, but it's a swim club. So many of them joined because their kid loves to swim. And so they're just like, "My kid loves to swim. I like the swim club." But they stay for the community. I just thought that was so good. I was just focused on them. I wasn't focused on me at all. And I'm sure you poured into those 6 ladies, Barbie. And as we do one thing, we do everything. So they saw your heart and your sincerity and your leadership in one thing. And they're like, "Oh, so you're a realtor? Cool. Bravo, ladies. That's how it works. We don't need to get on the dialer and call 500 people and cry." Anyway,
And cry.
and
I
cry
would
when
cry.
everybody says no.
I want to create a life that I love, and I love pouring into women, and it's creating clients by
Mhm.
me just pouring into them and walking them through. I'm helping another lady that I met I was speaking at an event, and she was like, "I have this 2-story house and it's just me now and I never go upstairs." And I was like, "Tell me more." And
Yeah.
now we've been out looking at houses, so still she's close. She found a
Yeah.
floor plan that she likes. So we'll see.
That's so good.
But I think of you because that's creating clients. She wasn't looking for a house.
Right.
No,
But,
but she
but you read
never
the
goes
room,
upstairs. Yes.
right? You cared enough to listen and read the room, be like, "Oh, she doesn't like," because who would want to have a 2-story house, you know?
Yep.
And it's so sad also because like my daughter's husband's dad, so her father-in-law died, and it's been a year. And she is 67 and she's very close, like with 20 people at her church, these ladies, right? And so she told many of them that she wants to sell the house. 100% of them say, "No, you can't sell that big, beautiful house. Oh my gosh, what would husband, I don't even remember his name, I didn't like him. what would such and such think? Oh my gosh, wasn't his dying wish that you stay in that house? You gotta honor him. Meanwhile, it's a monster house. It's just terrible. So why do I say that? Because ladies, we don't know what that lady in particular, maybe some people she knows are saying, "Oh my gosh, you've got to stay in that house. That was where you raised your kids. That was, all these things." And so you are being brave enough to hear it and be like, "Oh my gosh, you know what? How would you like a fresh start?" And I know you've been in the house X number of years, but it's simpler than you think. That's kind. Being nice is, and if you have any questions, let me know. That's not if, what? That's like puts them in the driver's seat. No, I like to be in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
so
that
good.
does lead to my question.
That's
Thank
so good. Go ahead. I'm so excited.
So I have a listing right now, and I regret how I've started it because, okay, so this house, it was listed in the fall for 1,085,000.
Okay.
And it's in a great community, very desirable community. Most of the houses that are selling have at least painted the cabinets white.
Mhm.
So renovating is overstating, but the cabinets are white.
Right.
They're not. So they have not painted the cabinets. And so it doesn't look renovated, even though a lot of the other ones don't either.
Does it look tired?
It did a little bit and that was kind of the feedback when it was listed in the fall. Their son was a senior. They waited till school started and listed, which is a 5 bedroom. That was just they missed the timing for sure. And they really needed to do some stuff. And I had taken a stager with me and we told them, take down all these signs. They had more gather, live, love, life
Ah,
all over the house. She took down most of them, but still, there was
yeah.
still a lot. There was still a lot. So they pulled it after a month and said, we're going to wait till spring, let him have his senior year, and then ghosted me all school year. So I was like, I'm never hearing from these people again. I kept reaching out and no.
Yeah.
Then they suddenly call and they're like, okay, we're ready to list. And I'm like, oh, praise Jesus, because I put a lot of money into it already.
Yeah.
And so went over there. She's now painted all the trim white, everything. So it's much,
Good.
all the signs are down. It looks much brighter, whiter, and presents way better. Still no paint on the cabinets. So the kitchen's still not the best, but they do have probably the best lot in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
To give you just a little bit. So he had wanted to go out at the same price, which was 1,085,000. I looked at all the comps. I don't think it's really overpriced,
Mm-hmm.
but it probably wasn't priced to sell quick.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I could have handled it better in hindsight because knowing he's already transferring to Chicago, so he had to go ahead and move. So he's flying back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that detail, I should have encouraged them to go lower. But
Mm-hmm.
I did not because it wasn't overpriced, but it wasn't priced a quick sell either.
Mm-hmm.
So now I had an open house. It went live Friday. I had an open house on Saturday, which was steady. I had a steady flow of people. We have had no offers and only one showing. She calls me when I'm on my way to the open house and says, we should have listed it 1,050,000. We wish we had told you that before. And
Mm-hmm.
it's going to show as reduced. And I'm like, I was probably just one question away from getting that to begin with. So I
Yeah.
take responsibility for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, so it's Monday. We have no offers. I got some feedback for the price. It could have had the kitchen, could have
Yeah.
been. So we're in the same position again.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked them last night if they wanted me to go ahead and reduce it.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I think we're going to hold.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
So I
What were your
feel
errors?
like,
What were your errors? I see two. Because I
well,
love you, and so that's what we're doing, lady.
I want you to be, I need tough love. So, um, first of all, I let him intimidate me. She's
Mm.
not really nice, but he is not. I let him intimidate me. When he said 1,085,000, I should have drilled down and
What
really
did you do when he said that?
I agreed to it because I had looked at the comps before I went over there and I felt like it's not really overpriced. But
You know, okay, so my number one thing mistake was and it's right here. Remember, Christ looks at the heart. It's inside out, right? It's not outside in. So you said two or three times, but it wasn't not priced to sell quick. It wasn't priced to sell quick. Like it wasn't overpriced, but I know that it's not a price that's going to sell quick. Why would you want to sell slow?
well, I didn't think it wasn't priced to sell quick
Oh,
this till after the fact.
because ladies, right? So that's a mindset, right? There's a mindset and a skill set. The skill set is asking the questions, okay? The mindset is to know that this is what's best for them, right? Because when you said a couple times, you're like, when I looked, it wasn't overpriced, but it wasn't priced to sell quick. So my question to you is the way I coach you is why not get everything under contract in 14 days or less? Now, some of you don't like that, but you like 21 days. Cool. Like, but when you say it wasn't priced to sell quick, what's quick?
That wasn't my thought though initially. That was my
Okay,
thought
what was your thought initially? So in
was
your
that
heart
it
of
was
hearts,
not overpriced. It's one of there's very few available even in the neighborhood. It's a very desirable neighborhood. So I actually thought we would probably be fine
okay, but
at that
listen,
price.
I want you to hear your words.
I know,
Probably,
probably I
you'll
hear.
probably be fine.
I know.
Ladies, is it a mistake to underprice a house?
No.
I don't believe it is.
No,
Because
I let him do it. And I know knowing now that he's saying 1,050,000, where when we went out in the fall, he was very adamant about
what have the and I have a hard stop in 3.5 minutes, so I do want to get this out. When you say you looked at comps, did you look at what the comps average sold price was in the fall and then what the average sold price is now? Not necessarily for his house, but for like that zip code or that area of town or that style of home. Because if you're in Texas, and I know you are, prices have either been steady or down a little bit. Okay. So then you could have said, George, tell me, where are you coming up with the 1,085,000? Love it. Come on, tell me. You know, this is where you're comfortable and you're leaning in. All right, come on, tell me. And then he'll say whatever he said. Doesn't matter what he says. Because you say, the fact of the matter is that um, you're going to get the price that a buyer is happy to pay you or is willing to pay you. And here's what's happening in the market. In the fall, the average sales price was this. And now the average sales price is this. If it's the same, then you were right. The second thing, so the first one was I want you to know that you can underprice without it being a problem. And in fact, you'll look like a hero. But overprice, oh, it did. I didn't overprice it. How many of you have told me I didn't overprice it and then it lingers on the market? So that's obviously that's not the way to think about it, right? I say with love, sincerely. The other one is you asked, do you want me to lower the price? Okay. So, and when she told you, I wish I would have done it at 1,050,000, you say, I'm on the way. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to lower the price. Don't get the signature. Say, say, I'm on my way to the open house. I'm going to go ahead and lower the price to 1,050,000 because right now, anybody who liked it or is searching, they're going to see it. And that's going to help you. That is never going to hurt you. And in fact, doing that might bring you multiple buyers that will get the price up. So I'm going to take care of that for you. And then when I get home at 4 o'clock, I'll send you the paperwork. Boom. Okay, so that's one. But if you didn't do that, then by you asking, do you want me? They're not the boss,
Mhm.
right? So I would have said, hey, Henrietta, here's the fact. Ba-da-da-da-da. I got three facts, open the loop. Yeah, I got three facts for you. And because of these three things I'm going to tell you, you were so right to go to 1,050,000. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to 1,050,000, and then I'll circle back and get the paperwork to you. Now, she might still say no, but you are approaching it from a leadership way as opposed to, Mommy, do you want me to lower the price?
Yeah.
So where did you leave it with her? And I know we have to hurry, but where did you leave it with her?
No,
Briefly.
we were going to evaluate this week that she said last night. I think he wants to hold.
Okay, cool. So you know what? I love that Bartholomew wants to hold. How about you, me, and Bartholomew get on the phone on Wednesday or Thursday? What day is better for you at noon? Because I want to hear from Bartholomew about why he wants to hold, because I'm here for you. And I want to help you get your home sold with excellence, right? So, and then you'll be nervous as heck to be on the phone with Bartholomew. Okay? You'll be nervous as heck. However, when you come to that appointment ready with your ears open. Bartholomew, Henrietta told me on Saturday morning when I was on the way to your open house that y'all wanted to get it to 1 million. You wish you would have listed it at 1,050,000. And then I shared this, but and so she said, no, we're holding it at 1,050,000. I love that. You are so decisive, Bartholomew. That's really so cool about you because so many people are not confident in what they declare. Tell me why we're holding at 1,050,000. We can hold there for 5 years. Tell me why. Like you take away, like be open and then write it down. And then you say, you know what? What if the best chance you have of getting anywhere near 1,085,000 is to reduce to 1,050,000? But here's what and I have to go, but here's what I want you to know, Barbie and all of you. If 1,050,000 ain't gonna do it, don't say that. Because the reason you want to be on that call is you know what you need to be at 1,032. Because my broker and I'm in a consortium with other top agents. And they said that things have changed in the last couple of weeks. New information. Okay? All right,
Okay.
y'all, listen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm proud of you. Listen, look, you know what? Don't feel bad, Barbie, because you had all those wins. This is a win, right? We just learned, and you allowed all of these other people who are going to watch this and who are here to be able to learn from your action. So, ladies, it's Essential Actions Month. What essential action are you going to take? Who are you connecting with? And are you going to lead or be led? All right, be in touch. Let me help you. All right, just reach out. Talk to y'all later. Bye.